call him the monster because when I built it, I took every lesson learned from all the other vehicles and I ensured that I employed it into this. It's definitely my best vehicle. From a value perspective, this is definitely our most valuable vehicle that we have, and it's been worth every penny. That it handles exceptionally well. The problem is it does have some durability issues, and so it's something that we've been working through a lot of. Pretty much everyone who has one of these has been working through. We're definitely at somewhat of a crossroads with this vehicle because it's something that I don't think right now will hold up for a heat, let alone even a main. And my son knows I'm not going to pit for this vehicle. I have no confidence in it holding up on the track. So, hey, also Nitro RC Nerds here, and this is part 2 of our RC car collection video. I think it's probably going to be a little bit underwhelming. We don't have a lot of vehicles, but the ones we do have, we like to rock with. You heard there in that quick soundbite concerning our Tamiya 801XT that we're at a bit of a crossroads on what to do with it. And I think that after this morning, I have one foot kind of on a specific path. We took it out, we had it at our track, and my son, it's his Truggy. He got down with it. There's no doubt about it. But the damage that I'm seeing, and he had probably 20, 30 laps. We're already seeing a bent shock tower. I'm afraid to even get inside the internals there. And, like I said, it handles like a dream, but I'm not going to continue to put on the same cheap ass parts. And eventually it's not going to handle that well. So anyways, we'll kind of see where we go with it. Worst case scenario, we're just going to have, like I mentioned, a badass basher. Back to my collection, I was thinking I may just do a vehicle per video at this rate. We'll see how it goes, but I ramble on. That's just how I roll. So this next vehicle, I'm going to tell you a little story because this is something that I carry with me with respect to this hobby, and it comes down to advice you obtain from people, right? And to this day, the very best piece of advice that I ever received surrounds this next vehicle. This gentleman goes by the Hunting Terminator. So if you're out there, I really hope you are, and I've told you, I think, previously how much this meant to me. I started out in this hobby, I had an Exceed Forza. I quickly realized that it was not what I was expecting. And so I started looking online, and I saw this video by this guy, Ali Shimano, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And he's driving this red cat, and he's talking how bad to the bone it is and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, man. I like the price too. I'm gonna check that out. So I consulted with some folks, and this gentleman, the Hunting Terminator, told me. He said, no, you probably don't want to do that because it's pretty much the same OEM as what you have right now in the Exceed Forza. And I was like, what? So I ended up getting this next vehicle instead. And I tell you what, well, you could either look at it as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you think of our channel. Because if I would have ended up getting that red cat, that would have been it. I'd have been out of the hobby. I'd have just washed my hands of the whole thing and said, screw that, and I'd have been back on my boat bass fishing, because that's my real hobby, by the way. But instead, I ended up with this right here, and it changed everything.
Where you ever lost, where you ever young, where you ever safe, little brother?
actually our oldest vehicle, and I've been trying to turn it into a shelf queen. It's interesting. This is it's a ready to run. It was a ready to run TQ Sport, and I say was because right now it's a hybrid. It is part TQ Sport, part PBS, part Pro, part PCR. You Hyper 7 guys know what that means. If you're not a Hyper 7 guy, then what it means is this is a bad machine right here. What I found very intriguing was we had this for the longest time, and I never realized just what we had. I knew it was durable. I figured that out because it didn't break. We drove the hell out of it. But then something interesting happened. I saw it go fast. And that's when I had my epiphany, because durability plus speed plus performance, this vehicle is as good as anything out there. Now, as far as my go forward plans on it, it's very, very simple. This vehicle right here, my expectations when I'm complete with it is going to be the baddest, most wicked Hyper 7 of all time. I know that's it's a wild statement. I promise I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. That's just my goal. I don't know why I can't achieve it. And I have a lot of projects. You guys follow my channel, you know that I put a lot of work into my vehicles. This is the Uber project. This is the quote build, if you will, rebuild, whatever you want to call it, of all rebuilds. Here's the cool thing. I have enough parts, stock parts, to make 3 vehicles. And I know people throw that claim out sometimes. I'm not kidding. 100% of the parts to make 3 stock vehicles. That's okay. That's pretty cool because stock, hey man, this thing is great. I really don't even need all those parts because it never breaks down. But here's the best part. I would say that I have every single upgrade, every single hop up, whatever you want to call for this vehicle. All of them, maybe 99% of them. And the Hyper 7, this is, in my opinion, probably the most popular nitro vehicle of all time. Definitely the most popular nitro buggy of all time. So it's pretty cool what I've amassed with respect to parts. And so the interesting thing about this is I have so much more to test on it. From a longer, lightened new chassis, pillow ball, suspension, all different sorts of toe blocks, different length CVs, standard diff, torsion diffs, spider diffs, clutch setups, link setups, caster blocks, A-arms. I mean, the list goes on and on with all the different permutations that I can actually employ. And it's awesome. Gearing, shocks, sway bars. And consequently, in my mind, there's no reason that I shouldn't turn this into the most wicked Hyper 7 of all time. And one other thing, going back to that chassis. I have a lot of different RC parts and things such as that, but I'm going to say that this is the most intriguing object that I have. And that this is new, it's never been used, and it's the Hyper 7 long chassis. I believe that it's the only new one, never been used, still in existence. And for all intents and purposes, anybody in the know with respect to the Hyper 7 will tell you that this right here is the best chassis for the vehicle. So once I turn it up a notch, after I finish all my testing here, everything's going to be mounted on here. I may not like it, I don't know, I may hate it, but I'm going to find out. I have a feeling I'm going to like it though. As for current specs on it right now, you can see I'm running an OS25XZ, which is just a monstrous engine. And it's very interesting because, in all candor, this engine is too powerful for this buggy, or really any buggy. But I made the decision that instead of taming the engine, what I'm going to do is I've been prepping and getting the vehicle to the point it can handle all this power. As far as servos, I'm running a ProTech 130T, which is 355 ounces of torque at 0.08 seconds. Another 130SS for throttle and clutch. Again, another vehicle I run a lot of different clutch setups on it. Right now I'm actually running a VP Pro, which it's a 3.2 aluminum, and I think I've got 2.95 and 1.9 millimeter spring on it. Actually going to be switching out to a Buku here very shortly. The shocks on here, they're actually, for the most part, Mugen shocks. I'm running Mugen shafts with it, and I've got other shocks for it. Suspension's been kind of a, a difficult area. This is the, the one downside with this vehicle, I'd say, is it's, I don't want to say it's outdated, but, when it's out in a construction site and it's bashing, man, nothing is meaner. But you put it on a track and you really see some of the flaws with respect to performance. So that's what I've been working on. It'll get there. And then the final thing concerning the Hyper 7, without a doubt, the most common question that I get asked, and I get asked probably twice weekly, is what nitro vehicle should I get? And mainly it's guys that are new to the hobby. And so they're not ready to, fork out $800,000 on a kit. So in my mind, it's an extremely easy choice, and that is the Hyper 7. The reason is durability. You see, it's very, very rare to get a durable, ready-to-run vehicle. Extremely rare. One of this sort of durability. And then from there, you work on performance, and that's more fun, in my opinion. It's just as challenging, if not more challenging, but I don't know. It just seems to be a little bit more instant gratification. What I would recommend, if anybody's interested, I've got this, I don't know, kind of a plan, if you will, on how you can get a Hyper 7 and turn it into something just as, badass as a Mugen or something, engine and all, for like maybe $500. Let me know if you're interested, and I'll walk you through the way that I think it could be done. All right, so that's going to be the end of this video, and you get one car in this one. But hey, it's off the Hyper 7, man. Can't beat that. I'll post another one tomorrow, another one in my collection. You might get one car, you might get two, you might get five. You never know. But I will tell you this. As I mentioned, you just can't go wrong with this. I'm watching this video series titled Let's Break a Red Cat. It's fascinating because it's a little bit old, and it just seems like one of the biggest mistakes in RC history. I put it up there with like, it's synonymous with the Microsoft Office paperclip. I'm sure somebody out there probably remembers that. Or Joe the Plumber. I'm sure somebody remembers that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, my God, why did they ever do that? Can you believe that there is a Red Cat buggy that's still out there and being sold that is almost $100 more than this off the Hyper 7? And if you have one, I'm not laughing at you or making fun of you or anything like that. Please understand that. I started out with an Exceed. You heard my story at the beginning of this. It is what it is, right? You just got to look forward and understand, keep an open mind that, damn, I could have got this instead. That's all right, though. How about we do this? I'll leave you with a little bit of a trivia. In the next clip, you're going to see only one thing has changed. And I'll give you a hint. It's not the tune of the engine. One thing has changed. Can you tell me what it is? I'll post the answer in tomorrow's video of Nitro RC Nerds RC collection. Thanks so much. Have a great day.